Hello, and thank you so much for watching this webinar today. My name is Daniel Shporin, and I lead our global team here at ATI Nursing Education. I'm really excited today to share with you the new partnership that we've launched with TrueProfile.io, in which ATI is going to be introducing some of its products for all TrueProfile members. So I'm going to tell you about 3 different products today that we're making available initially, which is our Skills Modules product, Real Life, and also learning systems for NCLEX prep. Let's get into it. First off, if you're not familiar with ATI, we've been around for about 25 years, and we're the leader in the United States for NCLEX prep for undergraduate nursing education. We've also created a suite of products to help prepare nurses to become better clinicians. We have over 2,000 different institutions using us in the States, as well as about 1,000 different hospitals and universities using us globally. So we're really excited to also make these products available for all TrueProfile.io members. First product I want to get into is Skills Modules. Now, this is my favorite product. You're not going to hear me say that about all the other products. Skills Modules is my favorite. The reason is because Skills Modules is incredibly comprehensive. I mean, this is not a book. It is jam-packed with material. All right, let's take a step back before I get too excited and start telling you all about what this product is. What's the problem here, okay? The problem is students don't have enough time, nurses don't have enough time to practice the skills that they need, right, in skills labs, in clinical rotations. And measuring that performance can be really difficult and time consuming. Okay, so how do we get nurses prepared? How do we get them prepared with the skills that they need to be better clinicians? Our solution is Skills Modules. So we have created a software web-based solution, something you can use from the comfort of your own home, which can be said about all our products. There's nothing you need to go to any special location for. All you need is a stable internet connection and a tablet, preferably a laptop, desktop, and you're ready to go. There is over 30 different modules in Skills Modules with 180 different skills. There's videos, there's virtual scenarios, there's EHR tests, EHR documentations rather. You're gonna see the ability to take a pre-assessment and a post-assessment for every one of these modules as well. So there's just a lot of material to help get you ready to be a better nurse. These virtual scenarios are what's really been exciting over the last year for us. So Skills Modules just got a facelift in 2020. In about August, September, we released a brand new update to it, including these virtual scenarios, which is kind of like a video game where you're asked different questions and you have to say what happens next. You have to make decisions and the system will react accordingly and either dock you points or reward you by allowing you to continue. So there's about 5 different virtual scenarios. There's actually a little bit more. These are just the 5 listed here that we've included in this new Skills Modules 3.0 update. Every single one of these modules, okay, is broken down into a couple steps before I get into what's on the screen. You have a pre-assessment before you take the actual content and before you learn everything. Then you have all the content itself with the learning modules, which is going to include the step-by-step video instructions, the accepted practice guidelines, evidence-based research, case studies, glossary with enunciation, right? How to pronounce different terms, which is really important. So you sound like you really know what you're talking about when you're a nurse. You have your reporting, you have your pre and post assessments, and that's the last part is that post assessment, which is where you'll be tested to see how have you done, right? So you tested before, you're tested after, and the content in the middle. Love this product. There's 30 different skills in here. All of them are relevant internationally, whether you're going to be practicing in the UAE, in Saudi Arabia, or anywhere else worldwide, or even if you're going to be coming into the United States. The only one that's really US specific is the HIPAA product, which is the Health Information Privacy Act that was passed in the United States in the 1990s. There are some overlap with other privacy acts in other countries, but that one's really specific to how we treat privacy and patient privacy in the United States. So if you're going to be practicing in the US, all 30 are going to be relevant. If not, it's going to be 29. Truth is, even if it's 25, There's a lot of material here. We're talking about 12 to 18 months worth of content if you're using something multiple times a week. There's just a lot to go through in this product. Skills modules is great, really, really fantastic. Again, it's my favorite. Real life might be our students' favorite and our users' favorite. This is a clinical reasoning scenario product. What is the problem? Okay, the problem is students and nurses struggle to apply the knowledge that they have in making clinical decisions. Okay, and having those clinical decision making skills is difficult to develop without practice and repetition and simulation. But high fidelity simulation is expensive. How are you going to get into a lab and practice with a mannequin? There's not enough time, there's not enough money for everybody to get that access. Okay, and planning clinical rotations is difficult as well. So we need a safe solution, something that users can have in the comfort of their own home and practice the scenarios that they're going to encounter in the real world. This is our solution. It's real life. We offer online simulation that encourages critical thinking, clinical decision making, and clinical judgment through deep engagement in realistic client scenarios where students and nurses are going to be challenged to make important healthcare decisions. So what does this all mean? Okay, this product, as opposed to the virtual patients that we saw before, these are real patient actors. These are going to be nurses, there's going to be providers, and there's going to be patients. And you're introduced to scenarios, you're introduced to who the patients are, and to really, what's happening. And then each scenario is going to show you a video, and then it's going to ask you a question, multiple choice. And depending on your answer to that question, you're going to see the scenario unfold to the next steps. Make a mistake, takes you in a different direction. Make the correct decision, takes you in the correct direction. And we'll talk more about that branching methodology that we use in a second. Talking a little bit about the product. There's a PN module, but really the 4RN are going to be relevant, I think, to everyone that's watching us. We have a med surge, a maternal newborn, a mental health, and a nursing care of children. Look, depending on what nurse you're going to be, if you're going to be working on the maternal floor, only get that product. You might not need the others. And that way you can refine your skills. If you're switching specialties, that's another good use for this, right? If you've been a general nurse for a while, maybe you're working in the ER, maybe you're working even in an outpatient setting, and now you're going to be working on the med surge side of things, maybe focus on that product, maybe focus on mental health. So really focus on the one you need to really upskill yourself and get better prepared to be a better nurse and a better clinician. Now, I talked a little bit about these branching methodology that we use. What is that? What it is depending on the answer you choose, the system will take you in different directions. Give a medication that the patient's allergic to, you're going to go this way where the patient is having an adverse reaction. Make the correct decision, you're going to go straight. Make a potentially fatal decision, the scenario is going to stop and you're going to have to deal with the consequences of your action in a safe environment without having to take that baggage home, right? You can learn that in a software-based environment, getting exposure to the kind of scenarios you're going to encounter. Of course, at ATI, our focus is always NCLEX prep. That is at the core of what we do. Besides making better clinicians, but we want our users, if they're going to be taking the NCLEX, to be able to pass it and have the reporting to really give them the confidence that they need to know that they're ready to pass that test. Why am I saying this? Because it's embedded in all of our products, these kind of reports that you receive. They're going to show you how you're performing, how you might do in the NCLEX. And this is something that you can print out and show your employer and say, hey, look at how I've done in this program. This is something that's recognized by a number of institutions, as well as the governing body in the United States. The NCSBN actually utilized real life as part of a study they did about 7 years ago, which found that up to 50% of clinical hours can be replaced with simulation hours. So this is a product that if you use, we're not just making this stuff up. We're not just pulling this from thin air. The people that made this product were nurse educators. They were nurses. Many of them, either worked at either for the NCSBN or they've worked at universities that help create this content. So these products were made with expert level knowledge to not only make you a better nurse, but also potentially get you ready to pass the NCLEX or other kinds of assessments that you need to become a nurse. So wrapping up with this product, right, real life provides realistic scenarios without the need for live clinical presence or risk for patient safety, right? You're going to be exposed to situations you'll see every day, but also less common situations, right? If you go to clinicals months and months at a time, you might not see some kind of event that maybe in 18 months you'll have to make a life or death decision. Real life exposes you to those events, allows you to gain confidence. So when it happens in the real world, you're ready. You've seen it before and you can act accordingly. Everyone receives the same clinical experience. Okay, so depending on what actions you take, it's going to take you in a different direction, which can really hone your skills because you can do these scenarios over and over again. Maybe the first time you're unsure, you get it wrong. The second time, you're more along the lines. And by the third time, you're perfect and you see exactly how things should play out the correct way. Really, really an exciting product to use. And these are all live patient actors, right? They're going to act confused, angry. Some will get mean, right? People are stressed when they're in a hospital. Family members are stressed. Everybody's stressed. And so you're going to learn to deal with those emotions and get a feel for how people react in different scenarios, especially if you maybe made a mistake, which, as much as we hate to admit it, clinicians do make mistakes. And some countries, the US, mistake rates are quite high. And we as ATI, we try to reduce that as much as possible with our products, with our simulations. And we hope real life can help prepare you to be a better clinician and make less mistakes and provide better care. Last thing I want to talk about, right? I talked about the NCSBN study that utilized real life and talked about how it can be used to replace those clinical hours. Up to half of clinical hours can be replaced in simulation. But look at the impact that graduates reported, right? Patient safety, clinical reasoning, clinical assessments. You're talking about nurses that are better and more prepared in their work. And this is really what it's all about. Last thing I want to talk about is learning systems. One of the things that we heard a lot in a survey we ran is that TrueProfile.io users want better and more affordable access to NCLEX prep. Okay, the problem is, from my perspective, it's simple. NCLEX prep is hard. It's expensive. It is hundreds and hundreds or thousands of dollars to recreate that realistic NCLEX experience. And so what we try to do with learning system is create something that's realistic, that has time-based questions, right? Where when you take the NCLEX, it's under a time constraint and that builds up a lot of anxiety. And our system recreates that anxiety. So when you're coming in to take the test, you're ready. You've seen it. You've done things that are a lot harder. Maybe you're at home, you have kids running around, right? People are getting in your way. When you come to the test, it's quiet. It might even be easier because you've seen it already. So what's our solution? Learning systems. We have a number of NCLEX products, but the reason that we chose learning systems for TrueProfile users is because it's versatile. It's jam-packed with questions for different content areas, and it's affordable. Okay, when you go into your TrueProfile account, and I'll tell you where you can find these things, you'll see that this is something that you can access. You don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars for. Okay, we've priced it at a point which is, we hope, appealing to everyone to get you ready for that test if you're going to be practicing in the US or even internationally, because a lot of international hospitals do want you to have that accreditation as part of your background. So learning systems helps you get ready for that. Thousands of questions in this product. You're going to see 34 different quizzes, but let's talk about 4 things here. Added practice, okay? This is huge. Sometimes it seems like there's just not enough questions to prepare you for the NCLEX or any assessment you're going to take. Learning systems has so many questions that we've built into it It actually pulls questions in from some of our other products as well as our content mastery series to give you all the practice you need. You can practice in a timed environment. So it's stressful. So it's stressful when you practice it for real. But when you come down to take the test, your nerves are settled. You're calm. You're zen. You've done the practice already in a stressful, time-based environment every day when you were practicing at home. That's what we wanted to recreate. Adaptive environment. If you're not familiar with what that is, okay, the NCLEX is going to throw you an easy question. Say it's going to be about, um, say it's going to be a maternal newborn question, or maybe a question about catheterization, or about a stroke patient, right? It's going to give you an easy question. Then it's going to come back maybe 10 questions later. You answered it correctly. Here's a harder question, same topic. 10 questions later, an even harder question. And that's how the NCLEX makes sure that you're knowledgeable and have mastered a specific content area by giving you that adaptive format, progressively giving you harder questions. Really hard to do this on your own. Our system does it for you. It goes, oh, you got it right? Perfect, here's a harder one. Perfect, here's a harder one. Until it's like, okay, we get it. You know what you're talking about. Last, you have the opportunity to build your own quizzes. So if you're struggling in fundamentals, you're struggling maybe in the assessment portion, um, or another body system, it allows you to build quizzes in different categories so you can remediate in those specific content areas. What's included in here? 34 different quizzes. There's 10 content areas. There's a comprehensive cumulative quiz. It's months and months of questions. It's perfect for formative quizzing. This is a great product to help prepare you to pass the NCLEX. You're going to see a number of topics that we cover: fundamentals, communication, maternal, newborn, adult med, surge, community health. There's others as well. You can see with the little asterisk which one of these have that adaptive capability. But this really is, especially at the price point, such a comprehensive product to help users get ready to pass the NCLEX. Really, really something that a lot of our users find useful. I have a lot of family members personally, as well as friends who've used ATI, who've used other products, and they rave about this product, the simplicity of it, and just how it prepared them to take this exam. Hey, I want to thank you all so much for watching. That's it. Tried to keep this really short, and hopefully introduced you to skills modules, to real life, and to learning systems. If you're ready to try any of these out, I encourage all TrueProfile.io members to log in, click on your account, and then self-education tab to access ATI modules. Plus, we're making a 7-day free trial available for each module ahead of purchasing. So you can try it before you decide to commit any money to it. I think the skills module product, probably told you 10 times already, is my favorite. That's going to give you, I think, about 18 months worth of content where you have a lot of things to digest in there. Real life, probably to really properly go through it, is going to be about 6 months to a year, because there's so much scenarios and different ways you can take them as well, and practice and see what happens in different ways. And then learning systems, if you're getting ready to take the NCLEX, give yourself 6 months, go through that product in detail, quiz, drill yourself on those questions so you feel confident to take the test. Again, I want to thank everyone so much for watching this webinar. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to the TrueProfile.io team. I'm happy to get involved as well if you have any concerns. Again, my name is Daniel Shporin. I'm with ATI, and I want to thank you all for watching this webinar today.